You are learning to make a new friend today.
By the fire. All the animals in the forest come up and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, very powerless, except this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream, takes a drop of water, and puts it on the fire and goes up and down, up and down, up and down, as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals, like the elephant with a big trunk, could bring much more water. They are standing there helpless, and they are saying to the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You're too little. This fire is too big. Your wings are too little. And you're big, so small, you can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discourage it, it turns to them without wasting any time and tells them, I am doing the best I can. And that to me is what all of us should do. We should always feel like a hummingbird. I may feel insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can.
So, as I mentioned before, my name is Julie Kintai. I work at KFEET, and I am so delighted to have you all here with us today to help us to celebrate this day. It's an important day. On this day, 14 years ago, the world lost a remarkable hero, Professor Wangari Maathai, but her legacy lives on. And that is why we're here today to commemorate the 14th anniversary. And we have a lot of exciting items planned for today. We have lots of wonderful speakers who are going to talk to you. We also have the wonderful children from the 3 schools from City Primary and JSS. You can stand away for something. City Primary or JSS? Yes. And then we have the children from Oswald Academy. And we have students from Dandora Comprehensive as well. All right. So a big welcome to you all. Before I hand over to my counterpart to just give a few words before we can officially kick off the program, I'd just like to acknowledge all the KFEET trustees who are here. That is Friends of Kalura Forest, Oswald Education Relief Board, Vivo Energy, KFS, and the Greenbelt Movement. So we have representatives from most of them today. You'll be hearing from each of them today. They will have some wisdom to share with you. Okay, so before I introduce our first speaker of the day, I'll ask my colleague, Peter, to come and introduce himself and to say hello to you guys as well.
Good morning. You want to be like the hummingbird? Yes. Are you one already? Yes. My name is Peter Jui. I work with Friends of Karura, operations manager. And with me, to welcome you all, is that we have still some staff. Ambao wanafanya kazi na Friends of Karura, apart from the keynote speakers. Kindly wave from where you are. Wherever you are, these are some of the staff ambao wanafanya kazi na hii shirika linaitwa Friends of Karura. Karibuni sana. We have a great day from this time all the way to 2 p.m. and even beyond that. Sawa. Feel free, ask questions, and maybe I ask. At one point, we will request you to interact with. You don't just have to sit with your colleague. au umetoka shule moja na yeye, si ndio? So that we mix up. We want to interact also. Okay, thanks you.
Thank you very much.
You see one hand there? Who is happy to be here? Wow. So I want you to give a clap for yourself. Did you enjoy breakfast?
Yes.
We're very happy to hear that. Welcome, all of you, ladies, gentlemen, friends, especially all you children. This is where our hope lies. Peter already said that who wants to be a hummingbird, and I think every single one of you want to be a hummingbird, or do you want to be an elephant, or anyway, I observe all protocols. Today we fondly remember and celebrate the life of late Wangari Maathai, our friend. We can call her our Earth Mother, or the Earth Goddess, whatever you call her. Words are not enough to describe her legacy, because this place, Karura, a lot of the greenery in Nairobi would not be there if it was not for her. So we pay tribute to her. She's not here in person, but her spirit remains in all the greenery and all of us who actually met her and who have actually heard about her. And we try to emulate what she did in the little ways we can. I remember the first time I met her was in 2009. Maybe some of you may not even have been around at that time. And she asked me what we should do with this place, the Shell Club, what was known as the Shell Club. And at that time I was involved with the Yoshua schools. I believe I was the chair of somewhere. And I said, we could do an environment education center. And she seized on me. She said, this is exactly what I've been thinking. We will do it. Let's make it happen. So those small actions. And today we have this center, the KFEET center, which is vibrant. Most children enjoy, look forward to coming here. I know that Dora Primary, I hear from your deputy head, and she's always so happy to, every time I mention Karura. City Primary, we had the pleasure of establishing a library there through Sukuma Twende Trust. Susha here is the chair of Sukuma Twende. And I'm sure you guys must be happy to be here. Yes. And Boshwal, I don't know, you keep very quiet. But I hope you guys are happy. Moving on, 2 years later, 5th of July, 2011, I was very, very late arriving to a meeting. And all throughout, I kept worrying, to have kept all these people waiting. And first of all, to keep Wangari Maathai waiting. And I rushed in, I sat opposite her in the meeting, and she had this benevolent smile on her face. I apologized, and all she did was she folded her hands and bowed. I mean, looking back on it, it still fills me up with emotion. So that was Professor. After I did the presentation on what our plans for the education center, she was wiping her eyes, and I think all of us were a bit concerned. We didn't know that about anything else, and I think she read the mood in the, she overcome with emotion because my dream has come true. My dream of an education center in Karura has come true. And I want to thank all of you guys, the scouts there, Christina, yourself, Catherine, for making this dream come true. So that was the last time that we saw her. But that memory we will never forget. Professor Maathai believed that caring for the environment was much more than planting trees. It was about justice, dignity, giving every person, especially young children like you, the sense of responsibility for future. She reminded us that each action matters, however small, and that courage in the face of challenges can transform all nations. And she proved it by what she did here in our beloved Kenya. Karura Forest is one of our legacies. What was once threatened is now a thriving sanctuary because people, inspired by example, stood up to protect it. And we've seen this in the past 2 weeks, where Karura has been reverted back to Friends of Karura. As we welcome you here, we are reminded that she always placed her hope in young. So you children are shouldering a lot of responsibility and live up to it. Do the little you can, do the lot you can to make her dream continue and sustain and protect the environment for future generations. Today, as we remember her, we let us all renew our commitment and carry this dream forward. Before I close, it is incumbent upon me to thank all of you here for being here, the teachers for making the arrangements and sparing the time that you have, and for the Karura KFEET team and the Friends of Karura team, my fellow trustees, the scouts, the education team, which is led by Julie, Lucy, we've got Gertrude, and Tracy, who's not here. So thank you all. I think with those words, I want to thank you and God bless you all. Thank you.
Today. And I'm sure that you would be so happy to have, especially the children here today, learning about conservation, about environment, and so on. And before we move on to another speaker, we are going to have our first performance by the children. Our first group is going to be City Primary and JSS, who are going to come up. So Mr. Maathai and your team, if you could please take the stage.
The Power of One Tree by Boniface Maathai. Welcome. Wangari planted a little seed and watered it with love and speed. From that tiny seed, a tree did grow, a symbol of hope, a way to show. One tree, then two, then many more. A forest grew from shore to shore. With every leaf, with every root, she helped the earth put on its suit. She showed the world is clear to see. One small act can set us free. A tree, a smile, a helping hand. They make the world a better land. So let's be like Wangari, bold and bright, planting seeds and shining lights. With every little thing we do, we change the world, me and you. Thank you. change by Boldface Maathai. Welcome. Wangari smiled and took a stand. With just one seed placed in her hand, she showed us all how small can be. The start of change for you and me. One little tree can clean the air, give homes to birds and beauty rare. She cared for earth both day and night, making sure it stays just right. So you and I, with hearts so true, can do small things the whole world will view, like picking trash or planting seeds. We help the planet grow its needs. Remember Wangari's gentle way. Small action grow and save the day. Thank you. Represents The She Whisperer by Mercy Anyango. Be my guests. Once upon a time, in a land so green, lived Wangari Maathai, a nature queen, with a smile so bright and hands so strong. She taught the world where we belong. She whispered to trees, grow tall and free, and they listened close, like family. One by one, the seeds would fall, turning bare earth into a green hall. She danced with the wind, sang with the birds, spreading hope without many words. Her secret, a heart that dares to try, to reach the earth, the sky, and fly. From small acts, great forests rise, like magic under sunny skies. So grab a seed, plant it deep, and watch the world wake from its sleep. Wangari showed us, loud and clear, big changes starts when we draw near to nature, to love, to all that's true. The world grows better because of you. Gracias.
KFEET, Friends of Karura, schools represented here, and all protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning. I am grateful to stand in front of you just to give you a bit of history of this forest that many of us have been enjoying for long, and many of us have started just enjoying it. My name is John Chege. I'm a community leader working with Friends of Karura Forest here, and I started way back when this forest was a no-go zone area, and even before the formation of Friends of Karura, way back when this auditorium was not an auditorium but a squash court. And today I'm grateful that we are here using it as an auditorium to train our young people about environment and conservation and how to embrace natural resources in this country. Myself, I want to start with just a quote of which perhaps I have mentioned before there. And being a community leader, it triggered my mind and forced me to start studying more about the leadership in the community. And what I did, I started studying from a certificate level to diploma. I'm currently pursuing a degree in biblical studies and community development outreach. And that one, I was forced by my own sense so that I can be able to relate properly with the community and showing them the way. And as I was doing that, I have a quote on leadership that I would like us all to know, because Wangari Maathai was a leader. And the quote goes this way. It was given by a guy called Henry Kissinger. It says, The task of a leader is to get his people from where they are and to where they have not been. That is a task of a leader, to get people from where they are to a place they have never been. Leaders who lead people to where they are always been, that's not the right leader. But the right and the best leader is somebody who takes you from where you are to somewhere you have never been. And that applies even to our students. The teachers are taking you from where you are to things that you never knew, so that they can come to your own mind and you can start implementing and working on them. And I was also to give another quote on the same. The quote, the author is unknown. Wow, unfortunately Daktari is not here. Daktari, I was privileged to see Daktari out here, and I was happy that he'll be here to let me know whether quotes that are written by unknown people, how one can own it. I wanted to own this, but I don't know, Daktari will advise me. It says this: to leave a legacy is to leave a piece of yourself behind in every person you've touched. I wanted that Daktari to confirm to me whether I can own it. Because
No chance.
so our assistant chair, Friends of Karura, has told me no. And when assistant chair talks, Harvey talks. So I'll just bear with you, and I believe that leaving a part of you is not that a piece of you will be cut and left there, but it's the actions and things that you do that touches lives of other people, that when you shall be far gone, people will still remember you because you left a piece of you. Wangari Maathai left a piece of herself to so many people in this country, internationally, and so many people embrace and remember her because of her deed, her tireless deeds that she did in terms of conservation, and everywhere she went, she touched the hearts of people. I happened to interact with Wangari Maathai early 90s, when this forest was being invaded by greedy grabbers of this country. And they had extended this to other countries so that they could just make this forest as a no-go zone where residential houses were supposed to be planted, such that today this could be a history coming to this place. When these demarcations were being done, I happened to visit some of the areas where these beacons were raised, and including the beautiful waterfall that exists in this forest. There was a beacon. A greedy person had desired to own that area, that when he is seated in his backyard or her backyard, could enjoy the flow of the waterfall that we enjoy as all. So when she came here, she was so much interested to see what we can do to make sure that this forest returns back to the public, because it's a people's forest. And by then, it was a government that had no other option. If the government said we are going left, you are supposed to follow left. And today we are just remembering her so that these inspirations can be instilled to most of us, so that we can be the little Wangari Maathais, such that tomorrow we shall stand for our rights, we shall stand firm to protect and take care of what is meaningful to us and the coming generations. So when she entered into this forest, she was not pleased on how it was happening. The president by then was not a simple president. He could do anything that he wanted. And by then, mind you, this forest was still manned by the then forest department. And the rangers were still here. And when she visited those times, because of the grabbing that was happening, and the developers had already entered, and they were felling most of the trees, so the community I reside in was also involved. So myself personally, I have benefited in this forest for two different ways. The first way was a negative way of benefiting from it, and the current is the positive way of benefiting from it. The negative way was we were entering here, felling trees, burning charcoal, brewing illicit, And also there were attackers, there were a team, there were different teams of people who benefited in different ways. I was included in benefiting in one of the way, but I have mentioned it was not the right way, but it was a negative way. But if I was to be asked, it was the right way, because by then that was the only option. But now when she came, she wanted to know what happens inside here, apart from the grabbing. She also visited those communities. So that time she came to my community, and that's why I gave the first quote on leadership that says, a leader leads people from where they are to where they have never been. So she was leading us from what we were doing to another thing we have never experienced. And she brought that attention that we can also benefit from this forest without tampering with any tree, without doing any crime inside, without doing anything that is against the government. And we were eager to listen what she was to promise to us. What she did brought us to brought a team together and told us we can start a tree nursery here, and don't mind about the seedlings, don't mind about how you're going to be trained, don't mind about the potting bags. The Green Belt movement will provide. This one we were speaking to her face to face in the community. And what she did, we started a section of about a quarter acre at the slopes of Horseshoe Village. That is where we started our tree nursery, and the seedlings were coming from Greenbelt, potting bags from Greenbelt, experts from Greenbelt. We were taught on how to do it, and we started growing our seedlings, and when they became mature, we were asking ourselves, after doing this, what next? And before even the fence, there were interested companies who wanted to plant trees in Karura Forest because of those patches that were destroyed by the grabbers. Even though they were still ongoing on third, she wanted to show us we can be able to go back and evict them and plant where they have already destroyed. And that was a promise. We agreed and believed in her and started following the suit. So when a time came, as we were continuing with the tree nursery, a time came that she wanted now to firmly enter to the forest and put a force to evict these people. We were also involved, included, and we came together with her. So the day, 1999 January, came when she wanted to enter here, and actually, she planned that day. We were all aware, and that's where I got the spirit of mobilizing people and bringing them together with a common goal. And when she had mobilized different parties, University of Nairobi, the then formation of opposition leaders, the communities, including my own community, and we planned for coming here now to make sure that we evict everybody from the forest. But unfortunately, this information leaked, and the government itself knew that we had plotted to do so. So the government had to deploy security personnel to all entries. By then there was no fence, so every corner of the entry, GSU personnel were deployed. And she was surprised, how am I going to get in here? But because we had planned to enter through the northern side at the orange gate, the ones who are scouts and clerks, and our team here knows the big gate that we welded permanently on Daisy Road. That's where we had assembled. But unfortunately, the entire team was there. I don't know who was left in the station. And now, because we were prevented from entering, we just went aside and whispered and said there were options. We could go another route. And now we told the police, we are not entering, let us plan for another day. We went round to the community down there at Runda and mobilized those people. We told her that we have an alternative. And we had to walk upstream and crossed a bridge somewhere. When it was flooded, we assisted her to cross that and brought her into the forest. Mind you, GSU personnel are still out there. And when we started planting, we didn't know where these guys came from, and they started fighting the teams. But this did not stop us, because we had a determination and passion to do what we were to do on that day. We were dedicated fully to do it. But let me tell you, the reason why the community I reside agreed on her plan is because she was telling us when these guys come here and take over, they are going to build houses, there will be no more trees here, there will be nothing but houses. As we were shocked, if they plant houses and trees are no longer, where are we going to get trees to burn charcoal? That was our mentality. But her mentality was a different one. So our resilience, our passion, our determination was that these guys should not build here, so that the trees continue growing, so that we can be able to fell some and burn charcoal. If we had revealed that to her, perhaps she could have sent us away. But it was still in us. Little by little, when we were able to evict them, although it was not easy, it was chaotic, because she was injured seriously and taken to Nairobi Hospital. Most of our teams also, including 2 men who are from my community, I mentioned them yesterday on X. One was General Kago Kagombe and another one was Dragon Kimani Kimando. They are late today. They were injured in that process. And we didn't give up, because after she was taken to the hospital, we planned another day that we entered into the forest, because the machineries were there. I wish I had that clip, I could show you where I was. We started putting them ablaze, and every machines were down without worrying anything. Even though the resistance of the security, the government itself was still there, we were not worried what will happen next. And that is passion and determination. There is nothing which could make us retreat, but we were focused on what we were doing, because we knew what we wanted. So when we were able to evict them, the forest was left now desolate. It had no, the grabbers had already left, but now it was left open. Those are 90s coming down, the 99 coming down. That was the insecure part of the forest. But during that process, Wangari also continued to talk to different companies who wanted to come and replant where these grabbers had already destroyed. And now planting the trees, she was picking teams from my community, coming here, clearing the invasive shrubs. Those are Antana camaras and Mauritius thorn. And then, second part of that, they were buying our tree seedlings, coming to plant here. So we saw we had another source instead of felling the trees. Slowly, slowly, this diverted our attention to focus on now making sure that we are conserving the tree. Without, by then there was no fence, the organization had not yet started. But it continued that until the year 2005, when this act was passed, the Forest Act 2005, which engages the communities working or residing around the forest to form community forest associations, so that we can be able to co-manage together with the KFS. And that is the time KFS was formed, before it was Forest Department. And during that period, the insecurity was very high in this forest. There were dumping sites of, it was a dumping site of dead bodies, all types of litter, and everything that is illegal, mention it, happened in this forest, including the government itself brought criminals in this forest to torture them. But it was so unfortunate, because some of them from my community also were victims on that, because we collected them inside this forest. So when time came and Wangari started now thinking another way, another option, the formation of the CFA, which is the Act 2005, she's the one personally who proposed it in the parliament and became law, so that we can engage ourselves to co-manage the forest with the teams concerned. And the formation now came to a time that we saw it's okay. Now we can enter here and still co-manage the forest with the owners. But to drive this attention, or to divert our mentality that we need to own that, was not yet in our mind. But now the teams that started forming the CFA were wise enough, because they were visiting every community that resides along Wellup and Wellup, to sell the idea to them, so that we could be able to be moved from where we are to a place where we did not know. And the teams came, we were very open, and they asked if we fence this forest and make sure that it is safe and secure, would you mind us doing that? But we were ready to tell them, yes, that's a very good idea. But bear in mind, tomorrow morning when you come back, you should have really destroyed it. But they wanted to know why. Why? And this is making your area safe and secure. We told them, because this forest, when you come up with the fence, you're going to bar us from entering and continuing with what we normally do. And they were ready to tell us that when we are fencing, we are going to include your people, and when we are fencing, we are going to engage and bring on board your people. And after that, we are going to transform this forest to be an ecotourism place, which will create job opportunities to the local communities, and also the Wella people who come in and make sure that they enjoy it in different ways. The community I reside, we are very easy won because we believed in that. And now the promises, the ones who are putting up that CFA together, were very good because they kept it in place. When the fence started, it's a long story, I don't want to say where it started and how we got to that. When it started, I personally was given a responsibility to go and vet who are supposed to be brought on board. And my thinking was, if I bring the best people who have never dared to tamper with this forest to be the ones who are going to start working along the fence, they might be the best ones. But also another thought came, if we leave aside the other ones who are benefiting in a negative way, I think those are the best ones, but in another mind, they will start attacking our visitors. But we came to a conclusion that the ones who are doing negatively are the best ones. Because when we come up with a fence, they will never come to destroy it. So I was able to bring them on board, the ones who are doing attacking, the ones who are doing, who are burning charcoal, felling trees for logs, and as well as burning charcoal. When we brought these guys on board, they knew nothing about security, they knew nothing about conservation, and most of them are passionate to know this place we've been brought where we have never been. How is it going to work out? And the idea was we just be patient and see what is going to happen. Even though the training that the first team, as we were putting up the fence, was very rough, because a team was brought from British Army Training Unit in Kenya, which trained us very vigorously. I may say that, but because we were ready to see that next place where we are being taken to, how it looks like, we were patient to that vigorous training. And we persisted, and today we are here. So the genesis of this forest that we are enjoying so much, it came from a time that no one could be ready to be associated with it, to a time that so many people, even the ones which we don't want to be here, want to be engaged with this, or they want to be associated with it. Because the one who started, the genesis of everything that is happening in a positive way today here, came from Wangari Maathai. Her spirit still lives, because when we remember this and continue on this, I think we are remembering her deeds and her works. And this is a motivation that we would like to post to you, especially the young children, that we need to desire, to have a passion, to have a mentality of transforming things in a positive way, so that we can live the way we would like to be. So after training our teams, we trained the scouts. We had only 9 people who are working here, and it is a very great achievement that the assistant chair can testify on that we have gone from no-go zone place to a place that so many people would like to be, because today we are enjoying that. I happened to interact with Wangari Maathai as we were forming the CFA from KFEET. I did a lot of walks with her in the forest, and she was mentioning a lot to me that we needed to save this forest. We need to make sure that it's there. We need to make sure that it is not tampered with, so that you and the generations to come shall forever enjoy it. So what the challenge I would like to pose to us all, and even to the government today, is that we need to be watchful and observant on what is happening around our forests. Not only Karura, because most of us might not have come from only this region, but come from many regions, is that we must watch over our boundaries. Even though perhaps you don't know where they are, we might see something which is not all that like happening around our forest. We need to be watchful and advocating against encroachments. We are standing firm, even though we might not have that capacity, but let us be out there shouting that we need to protect our forest as she did, because the spirit Wangari Maathai had must be instilled to many of us. So we must be watchful on the encroachments and as well as the government takeovers of community managed resources. Let's mentor. Once we are here, let's mentor our young people. Let's work with them. And as I mentioned yesterday, is that we need to give these young people platforms so that they can be able to air their views. Let us give an attentive ear to them. Let us make use of these people, because the generation today is most advanced, and that's why you see even some of us at our age, we have decided to go back to school, because they will overtake, and even we will not have say if we are not working with the current age. The generation, the world is changing, and I believe this forest is there to stay. This forest is there for us today and many, many years to come. Congratulations for the team that led us to this. I didn't imagine that a place where there were exotic trees only could be turned in a very short time to become an indigenous place. Because Karura Forest is a restoration area, it's not a commercial forest, and what the team is doing, it's a big thumbs up, especially to the Assistant Chair, Friends of Karura, and the team, Rajesh, for the education team, because this is what we are advocating for. Let this information reach even the youngest person in this country, and even the ones who do come. Let them understand. Let them not be like when we were being brought up. We could not get an opportunity to visit a forest and see what is happening here. We could not be able to understand the importance of us having a forest, but we saw a forest as a place we could burn charcoal, fell trees for poles, and even do any other illegal activity. Let them embrace and have that spirit of the Wangari Maathai, and by so doing, we shall have a generation that will stand firm. Even if a corrupt government comes up, it will never be able to remove what we value from our hands and from our minds. Thank you so much.
Skit by the title Tree Mending Efforts. Enjoy. Harambe!
Umoja!
Harambe!
Amani!
Harambe!
Upendo! Peace! Love! And unity!
Our motto.
Together we move forward!
My beloved people, I must say that I am very proud of you. Indeed, we are the epitome of the saying, together we stand,
Divided we fall!
It is through your relentless efforts we have managed to make this place what it is today. Your small actions have resulted to this big and conspicuous impact. Let's appreciate ourselves for that. We are now thinking of what we can do to make this place even better. What do you think we can do?
Bono Chairman, is that a question or an answer? I can tell you for sure, the value of this land has really appreciated. Just give it some time. We can sell it to the real estate guys. We will make lots of money, I tell you. Nagani, no.
I think industrialization is just the way to go. We can just lease this land to an investor for the construction of an industrial park.
You both have brilliant ideas.
Of course! What did you expect?
But I believe we have all worked hard towards this land.
Yeah!
We can't afford to sell or even lease it.
Exactly!
Let's think about adding value to it.
I have an idea. Look at our environment. Feel it. Fixing just one thing and we can fix thousands of problems. Let's plant trees.
Trees? No!
Listen here. When we plant trees, we're planting seeds of peace and hope. Yeah. To end global warming, let's plant trees to prevent soil erosion. Let's plant trees to get rid of in the air.
Let's plant trees.
To grow fruits to strengthen our immune system.
Plant a tree.
To promote tourism.
Plant a tree.
To make our land beautiful.
Plant a tree.
Harambe!
Plant a tree.
Harambe!
Plant 2 trees.
Harambe!
Plant 3 trees. Let's plant trees.
Trees are the guardians of our earth. Planting them is a noble birth. They breathe out oxygen with glee, a gift for you and me.
So let's plant trees with all our might for a greener tomorrow shining bright. Let's nurture them with love and care for the future's sake and the air we share. Conserve today, secure tomorrow. Thank you.
We all look very lovely from this spot, and it's an honor to be in this auditorium this morning. And my name is Dorothy Aseo Asuza, and I work with the Greenbelt Movement as the Executive Director. And today I'm here to just remind us a little bit around the great movement that Professor Wangari Maathai actually wanted to have, and it is still what we have right now as part of the legacy that we are deepening and also continuing to have within this great nation and across the world. So, who was Wangari Maathai? And this is one of the questions that all of us keep on asking about this great lady, great African leader, and the great global leader that we've ever had on this earth, and of course, her dream around a movement for change. I just wanted to pose a question to all of us this morning. Who has ever planted a tree, or who has ever planted a seed and watch it actually grow? Look at it every single day, go, come back, and watch it actually grow. Just raise your hand. Good. I can see like 99.9% of those in this auditorium have been able to do that. And this is one of the things that Wangari Maathai did. She planted a seed, that seed of environmental conservation, climate justice, peace, good governance, and environmental stewardship. And she watched that seed grow. And this is where we are. And this is exactly what Greenbelt Movement, as a legacy institution, continues to support in this country, continues to support communities, and this is where we also rely on the work that we continue having together with all the people that are putting in investments to support environmental conservation. As I asked, who was Wangari Maathai? Because today we are celebrating her, and we cannot keep on reminding ourselves, because her legacy, her history is what shapes us and what inspires us. And one of the key things that all of us are proud and look at is she was a woman who loved trees, she loved people, and she loved justice. Personally, I interacted with Professor when I was a student at the University of Nairobi doing environmental science. And vividly, actually I was in my second year when she visited. And she had actually a talk to us, which completely changed the course of my career trajectory. And I really admired and said, one day, I hope I will be in a position to support the work that is happening within this space and led by this very, very remarkable woman. And many years down the line, we have been able to continue with all that. And today, Greenbelt movement stands in as one of the legacy institutions that Professor Wangari Maathai left behind, and we still deepen and continue working on the work that she has been able to inspire all of us. Why Greenbelt movement? Throughout the work that Wangari Maathai was doing with the communities, she actually inspired them and taught them they could actually plant belts, green belts around their farms, green belts around their forests, green belts around their endangered ecosystems. And this is where the entire slogan and even the name of the Greenbelt movement came from. How do we secure what we have, especially on our ecosystems, with the green belts that we can be able to form? This shapes to date the work that we do as Greenbelt movement, and we are anchored at the grassroots level because the work that Wangari Maathai was doing actually was stemming up from the Greenbelt movement and the communities that we work with. Therefore, we continue to ensure that this is where we anchor our support, we anchor our work, and also how we rally communities to continue working to safeguard and be able to support conservation efforts and even climate justice work. We all listened to the story of the hummingbird, and thank you, Julie, for starting us with that very powerful story of the hummingbird, because that story inspires all of us and how even the movement is able to come into existence and continue its momentum. Because a movement is a matter of more numbers, more people, more voice, more momentum. And therefore, the story of the hummingbird reminds us that the little that you can do is what is needed in that movement. And the movement can only be as strong as the individual efforts that all of us are making. Therefore, the Greenbelt movement continues to really rally its support around that very strong story of the hummingbird and the little that we can do as an institution, as Greenbelt movement, and how we are able to use that as our power of influence and how the legacy of Professor Wangari Maathai shapes us on that particular journey. We still support restoration efforts. Greenbelt movement has been working in the 5 critical waters of this country, that is Mount Kenya, Mount Elgon. We have work going on in the Mau complex, we have work going on in the Cherengani Hills, we have work also going on in the Aberdare ranges. And we still have a lot of other efforts that are going on across the country in terms of the green spaces. I was happy to listen to Mr. Shege in terms of how the Karura Forest, the green spaces within this urban city, and we are working also on terms of safeguarding those urban spaces and how they are going to be integral parts of our conservation effort. Apart from that, we are also looking at livelihoods, because at the end of the day, livelihoods or poverty actually is a direct driver to environmental degradation. Allow me to quote Professor Wangari Maathai quote. She said, "Somebody will cut the last tree to prepare their last meal, not knowing what will happen." And that is what happens a lot in our communities, where people destroy the forests, destroy the environment, not knowing what will happen. We just heard of the testimony whereby communities here, in fact, they used to burn charcoal so that they can earn a livelihood and destroy the environment. Therefore, we do also work a lot as Greenbelt movement to support livelihoods, and these livelihoods are the ones that are enabling communities to have an economic muscle and therefore conserve the environment. Another very important statement that we utilize as Greenbelt movement is conservation without investment is just a conversation. Therefore, we call all of you to actually continue investing and seeing how conservation becomes just not a conversation, but conservation that has investment, and investments that cut across from the goodwill that we see ourselves conserving it, the investments that come in especially when we see ourselves digging a hole, planting a tree, growing it, nurturing it, and seeing the fruits and the shades that we enjoy, all of us here. Bringing in children, KFEET, educating the children, that is the investment we are saying. Conservation without actually investment is just a conversation. Therefore, this is a very important clarion call that we continue rallying all of us as Greenbelt movement to continue the legacy and deepening the legacy of Professor Wangari Maathai. Another very important thing that Greenbelt movement, or another important area that Greenbelt movement continues to support and deepen the legacy of Professor Wangari Maathai is around advocacy. We cannot continue working and not safeguarding what we have. Therefore, as we plant more trees, as we protect the forests, as we restore the wetlands, as we go to farmlands and do the work we are doing with the farmers, how are we advocating to safeguard that? How are we educating our communities, young children, school-going children, people who are actually of goodwill, and those even who are not of goodwill? How are we advocating all of them to continue supporting the work that we do? And right now, you are aware that Greenbelt movement has supported the other legacy institutions, including even Friends of Karura. We've worked together with KFEET. We've worked together even with the institute, the foundation, to really push a lot of advocacy and support. And currently, all of you are aware of the many litigations that we've done to safeguard and protect the green spaces in this country, and that is what the movement is all about. And we are proud that Greenbelt movement, we still honor that legacy and memory of Professor Wangari Maathai towards stewardship and good governance in this country and also beyond. I would like to bring it home to the learners and everybody who has been able to join us today for this commemoration. And one of the key things that I just wanted to bring to your attention is we are all called upon to plant and take care of trees and the environments we come from. Whether it's in school, whether it's in the backyards of our homes, whether it is actually in public spaces that we go to, whether it is even in those areas that we feel we are not part of, but we have an influence on. Therefore, we call upon you to be that hummingbird and plant and nurture a tree so that we continue to deepen the work that the movement was all about, and of course, honoring the legacy of Professor Wangari Maathai. The second one is around rallying our support to have a momentum and of course, create more people that can rally the cause of environmental conservation. What does this one mean? How many of you are in environmental clubs back in school? Do you have an environmental club? Do you have maybe a club that actually looks at issues to do with conservation? How many of you just raise your hands? Good. I can see almost 70%. And for those who do not have such clubs, wow, more hands, it's becoming clearer, more hands. Yes, yes, yes. Well done. Let's clap for ourselves. So when you go back, it's a challenge to the teachers, to the people who are supporting our young people, because such spaces are the ones that start nurturing. They start giving people and our learners the skills, actually the knowledge, and even the courage to be able to do what they need to do when it comes to the work that we are all aspiring and looking at undertaking when it comes to environmental conservation. Therefore, we all are being called upon to join an environmental club, to be part of the spaces that are discussing, join even a cleanup exercise, be able to join up if at all there is a commemoration like Mazingira Day that is coming up. People are planting trees, people are going to clean the neighborhood and be able to ensure that we have a safe, cleaner, and of course, conserving our environment. And the third thing that I would like to leave to you and urge all of us to be able to take up is to teach each other. Even you, when you go back, teach your parents, teach your siblings, teach your friend, teach your neighborhood friend on how we need to continue conserving and protecting nature. Because I heard from one of the poems that when we draw close to nature, big things happen. So if we do not conserve that nature, then where are we going to draw ourselves for the big things to happen? So we call upon you to teach each other, to encourage each other to be able to take care of the nature, and that is how the movement keeps on growing, the movement keeps on having the momentum and the energy and honoring the legacy that Professor Wangari Maathai. And remember, if each one of us does that small thing like the hummingbird, then we are all building towards the change that we are going to see. As the same way the forest was consuming, the fire was consuming the forest, and the hummingbird was encouraged to change something or to do something about it. Let us all do something about the conservation of our environment and of course what we can be able to do in our little own way and spaces. I therefore invite all of us to stand up right now. Great. I can see everyone from behind, even in front here. Yes. I want you to just repeat these words after me and let it be a statement that actually inspires you to be the hummingbird and you can do what you can do the best. So raise your right hand and just say these words after me. I am a hummingbird.
I am a hummingbird.
I will do the best I can.
I will do the best I can.
Once again, I am the hummingbird.
I am the hummingbird.
I will do the best I can.
I will do the best I can.
Thank you so much. And allow me to just say that Wangari Maathai dream lives on, and when each of us takes action, the future of our forests, our ecosystems, and our water bodies and our country is in our hands. Let's start it today. Be the hummingbird, and God bless you all.
Presents a poem, small actions, big impacts. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Small actions, big impacts. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai, with a brave heart. A seed so tiny, resting in the ground, yet from its silence, life is found. One little action, humble and small, can rise to greatness and inspire all. Small actions, big impacts. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai, with a brave heart. She planted hope, one tree at a time. Her vision was clear, her mission sublime. With heart so steady, with heart so true, she showed the world what one can do. Small actions, big impacts. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai, with a brave heart. The forest whispered, the river sang, birds in the sky let freedom rang. Through Wangari's care, green dreams awoke, our future secured with every oak. Small actions, big impact. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai, with a brave heart. She faced the storms, she stood so tall, her courage unshaken, inspiring all. With every sapling, a promise was made, for greater tomorrow, in sunlight and shade. Small actions, big impact. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai, with a brave heart. Children, remember, it starts with you. A bottle recycled, a tree planted too. Don't wait for the mighty or for the grand. Change begins with your very hand. Small actions, big impact. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai with a brave heart. The earth is calling, her voice is clear. Protect her beauty, hold her dear. Small steps today, though they seem slight, can grow into forests bold and bright. Small actions, big impact. Let's do our part, like Professor Wangari Maathai with a brave heart. So let us honor Maathai's name by carrying forward her torch, her flame. Small actions matter, never forget. Big impacts follow, the best gift yet. Small actions, big impacts. We take the lead, honoring Professor Wangari Maathai. We plant the seed. Thank you.
And I was a learner like you. So here is the presentation. You joined me in the song, and this is how the song goes. Head, shoulder, knees, toes. Do you know this song? Yes. Beautiful. So let us perfect it. Then we energize and we sit down for the next presentation. Let's go. Head, shoulder, knees and toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulder, knees and toes, eyes, ears, nose and mouth. Some people have ears,
help from companies to put an electric fence around the forest. That was the first thing they did to management of forests so that more people can enjoy this green space, clean air, and as you've all heard, that Karura Forest is the lungs of Nairobi city. So basically, the carbon dioxide that comes up in the air comes to the Karura Forest, most of the carbon dioxide from all the cars and all the dust, they come to Karura Forest, the trees are there, they clean the air, and then they let out the oxygen. So more Karura Forest areas around the city, around the country, will change this whole country and also change the climate, we hope. But this calls for everybody to work together. And that was a call this morning. When we do things together, small things together, big things happen. Okay? Now, another small action that Friends of Karura has done, they have removed what we'd call trees that don't belong to Karura, don't belong to Kenya, and are planting what we call the indigenous trees, trees that are local, that belong to Kenya or the area. And before we came in as Friends of Karura, the whole forest was full of those trees from outside the country, which we call the exotic trees. And now we have, that used to be about 25% of this whole forest. Because of the small actions of Friends of Karura, we now got 60%. Can you see that? From 25% of local trees when we started in 2009, we are now 60% of local trees. So you can see the small impact, the small actions that Friends of Karura has done, and there is an impact. I'm sure when you come here, and I'm hoping that you do come to Karura Forest, you find a lot of tree cover because of these trees that they have planted. Wangari Maathai, continue resting in peace.
Use a bucket or whatever you can find, but you've got to look after your trees, because growing trees is what we want to do. And if you go to certain areas of the forest, the one Chege was talking about, the other trees, big trees, that were planted in 1999. They're still there. So please, I hope you will all continue coming in the forest. And Catherine's idea of planting trees on your birthday, we already have a number of people who come when they wish their children and plant the number of trees that's their birthday. Isn't that a nice idea? You can even plant it in your garden, or you can plant it in your school. See if in your school there's a little area where you can create your own little forest. And then you see it grow. And if you leave the school, whoever comes behind you or your younger siblings can continue looking after the trees. So thank you to all of you, and we love having you here, and we love having KFEET, the education side, with Julie here, Rajesh, who is the chair of our management committee, and we do want to thank, I don't know where our caterers are. They're not here?
Yeah, they're in the kitchen, preparing lunch.
They're over there. They're preparing lunch. They very, very kindly offered to prepare lunch for all of you as a contribution to the event today. So thank you, everybody. And now it's almost time to go plant trees and then have lunch. Thank you, everybody.
Wangari Maathai anniversary.
Yes, yes.
Small deeds.
I'm Chairman Junior.
Chairman Junior. Wow. And you didn't speak.
Wanna cheer? My legs are not Hello.
Good.
Yes, very nice. Who's it? Me.
Daughter. You said you took it past you.
I took it past you. Mr. Dennis, I have two for each.
Take position here in our...
Wait, it's 2 trees past 2, right?
So what we will do, we are already guided by some grants, which means we are preparing the planting material, then we reduce wastage and reuse. That's all. So we will do some sort of massage this so that we make sure this potting bag is usable to raise another seedlings. Are you together? So you massage the tree. So So make sure your tree, when you remove the potting paper, remains the same. So, then when you are planting, you can always do one knee down. Then when you are returning the soils, make sure it comes to where the other seed, the soil was. Don't bury don't cover the seedlings up to the leafy part. Are we okay?
Yes.
That soil is enough. You
Where's
give
the
some
water?
space for water.
Okay. Before that.
And I will plant a tree, water the tree, it cares for me. Nitapanda mti, nitanyunyuzia, itanilinda.
Ndio barabara tulipita.
Ziko mbali. So we are just going
Kaguna mfungo sana. Acha nizione.
She's very beautiful.
Waterfall
caves.
Let's move.
Waterfall caves now.
Now listen, my colleague has asked you about indigenous. Actually, we have two types of trees. We have the exotic and we have the indigenous. Like for this side, you can see we have very tall trees. They are alpine trees. But all of them are exotic because they did not need to be grown here, but they were introduced. They were planted because the person who planted had various objectives. One, they planted those exotic trees because they grow very fast and they mature very fast. But now, because you are doing conservation and our main objective is reducing the greenhouse gases, right? And the most efficient trees to ensure that we have a better control of global warming is planting the indigenous trees, because indigenous trees, they have a higher capacity of capturing and storing carbon. We said we breathe out carbon dioxide, right? So when we breathe,
are very much important for the survival of species, small antelopes. So it is also hard for me to spot apart nesting on them. But it is just the perfect place for feeding. Now the users of these trees, they are used by landscapers because of the nature of how attractive the foliage is. Yeah. But it is the perfect place for feeding also. So these are one species of trees on the same place, and now you can look over there. We have different species of trees located at the same place. So those are indigenous ones. Indigenous trees are those that are native to this country. Sasa, yeah.
Climatic condition ya huko inaiweza mangi tuko nao wawili, type mbili. Karura tuko nazo mbili. You have the Columbus. Columbus mangi na hapa na the white color.
Oh, Ministua! Going on a trip to Karura Forest or taking a forest trip. And they're like heavy, to carry them up and down the stairs. No swimming allowed, you can see them, you guys. No, like you can sit on the rocks. I think there's no problem with that. We're going to the cave. What's up, people? Hi! Selfie! Hey! No! What is that? Academy group!
Because the freedom fighters by then, who are called the Mau Mau, they used to hide in these caves, strategize, plan on their fight before they go to the battlefield. So these caves, nobody was involved in creating or digging the caves, right? These caves are natural. They were formed as a result of water erosion, because at that time when the river overflooded or overflow, most of the water used to hit the river bank. What is the river bank? River bank is the sides of a river, right? So when it is full, as the water flows, it keeps on hitting the river bank. So the more it hits, the more the soil becomes loose.
Maina ya siku. Ama kuja kusemea hapa poem.
Kule alikuwa na dread pote. Siku tena na kuna dread. Hapo kuna kitu kilikuwa inaitwa zebra. Seriously. Dick dick.
Dick dick ni mnyama. Huko nyuma. Zebra.
Ile ni ile yuko pale
Pole pole basi. Ndio hiyo.
Hajasema seven.
Ndio hiyo.
Hapa juu.
Ndio hiyo.
Kijana kuna mwingine? Usiwache mtu.
We! Wapi wengine? Hebu kila mtu angalie mwenzake.
Mmoja ndio yule anakuja.